You know the moment. Your phone lights up with a message that is not a question, not an apology, not even a full accusation, just sharp enough to pull you back into the old dance. A sentence built to tighten your chest and move your fingers before your mind arrives. And here is what changes everything. You read it, you feel the pull, and you do not react. That is when some people start panicking. Not because you harmed them, not because you were cruel, but because your calm just removed their favorite lever, your urgency. They were counting on the old version of you, the one who rushed to explain, soften, defend, or fix the emotional weather in the room. Your silence is not the point. Your nervous system is. You are no longer easy to steer. And notice what makes this so confusing. Your calm does not look like aggression. It looks like restraint. It looks like someone who is finally choosing their response instead of donating it. But to a person who depended on your quick emotional movement, restraint can feel like defiance. Your stillness reads as a closed door. That is why you can do everything right and still be treated like you did something wrong. Because the old dynamic was never built on what was right. It was built on what was predictable. They knew what button to press and what version of you would appear. If you have ever been punished for being peaceful, this is why. By the end, you will understand what is happening inside the other person's body when you stop matching their emotional speed, and you will know how to respond without losing your dignity, your clarity, or your warmth. You will also see a truth that stings at first, but frees you. Some people do not want connection. They want control that feels like connection. Here is the reframe most people miss. Your calm is not just a vibe. It is a mirror and a boundary at the same time. A mirror, because contrast creates awareness. A boundary, because it blocks the fast road into your mind. Chaos needs a partner. When you refuse to become that partner, the chaos has nowhere to land, so it reveals itself. And that is the strange spiritual lesson hidden inside all of this. The more centered you become, the more you expose what in others is still at war with itself. Your calm is not an attack. It is an environment. If someone cannot breathe in that environment, they will try to change it. They will try to change you. So let's name the patterns, what you will see, why it happens, and how to stay grounded without turning cold. One more thing before we begin. Calm does not mean disappearing. Calm does not mean stonewalling. Calm means you stay present without letting someone else set the speed of your nervous system. It means you can be warm and still say no. It means you can care and still refuse disrespect. That combination is what exposes chaos, because chaos relies on you confusing love with compliance. Calm creates contrast, and contrast is unbearable for people who survive by staying emotionally loud. When you stop reacting, you do not just remove drama, you remove their map. Some people have learned, without realizing it, that intensity is how they stay close. If the relationship is calm, they feel unseen. If the room is quiet, they feel unsafe. So when you bring peace into the space, it does not feel like relief to them. It feels like exposure. Watch what happens next. The tone escalates, the volume rises, sarcasm appears, demands speed up, like someone who cannot tolerate silence between notes. The goal is not communication. The goal is to pull you back into the familiar tempo. Because if you slow down, they have to hear themselves. Then comes the provocation. A bait question that is not really a question. So you're just not going to answer? Wow, you really don't care. I guess you think you're above this. It is a trap made of words. If you defend yourself, they win access to your energy. If you explain yourself, they win time. If you get angry, they win the drama they know how to control. Provocation is the fastest way to steal calm from someone who is learning to keep it. And when that does not work, they pathologize your peace. They call your clarity cold. They call your boundaries selfish. They call your calmness a performance. They try to make you doubt your inner shift. This is the moment many people collapse. Not because the accusation is true, but because it hits an old wound. The fear of being misunderstood. The fear that if you do not over-explain, you will be abandoned. Make it practical. Imagine you used to respond within minutes. Not because you wanted to, but because delay felt dangerous. Now you take a breath. You read the message once. You choose to answer later, with clarity. The other person does not simply wait. They send another message, then another, then a question mark, then a story about how you always do this, then a sudden, urgent crisis. This is not random. It is their nervous system searching for the lever that used to move you. Sometimes the lever is not even a fight. Sometimes it is you being trained to answer, "Are you mad?" with immediate reassurance. Sometimes it is you being trained to prove you are okay, even when you are simply thinking. If you grew up around volatile moods, your body learned that delay equals danger. So when you pause now, you may feel guilty, even if you are doing the healthiest thing you have ever done. This is where you need to separate two different realities. 1. You are pausing to respond with clarity. 2. They are interpreting your pause as rejection, because rejection is what their nervous system expects. Your calm is not doing something to them. Your calm is interrupting what they are used to. Here is the question that saves you years. When someone gets upset at your calm, what are they really losing? Your love, or their ability to manage their discomfort through your reaction? Because that is the mirror effect. Your calm forces them to sit with what your urgency used to soothe. Your peace reveals what they were outsourcing, and once you see that, you stop treating their turbulence as proof you are doing something wrong. You start reading it as information about what the relationship has been feeding on. Now we move to a pattern that looks caring on the surface. It can even sound intimate. But underneath, it is a demand for access. There is a version of control that never calls itself control. It arrives dressed as concern, as closeness, as, "I just want to talk." It sounds like, "Are you okay? You've been quiet." It sounds like, "Why are you making this a big deal?" It sounds like, "I'm worried about you." But the message underneath is not, "I want to understand you." The message is, "I need access to you right now so I can feel steady." Some people do not know how to bond through peace. They learned closeness through emotional weather, late-night spirals, urgent talks, dramatic apologies, high highs and low lows. In that kind of bond, intensity becomes proof of love. So when you become calm, when you stop rushing to fix the moment, you do not just change the mood, you change the attachment language. And to someone addicted to intensity, your calm feels like you are leaving, even if you are still right there. This is why concern can become surveillance. They track your tone, they measure reply times, they read your quiet as a threat. It can get subtle. They ask questions that sound innocent, but feel like interrogation. Who were you with? Why didn't you answer? What are you doing right now? They reread your words and search for hidden meaning. The point is relief, collapsing uncertainty by controlling your availability. They push for immediate access, not because the topic is urgent, but because their body is urgent. Their nervous system is craving a familiar drug, your reaction. And when you do not provide it, they experience withdrawal. Withdrawal can look like anger, tears, sarcasm, or a sudden story about how you have changed. It can even sound reasonable, which is why it works. You start doubting yourself. Maybe I am cold. Maybe I am distant. Maybe I should respond faster just to prove I'm a good person. That is the trap, making your calm feel like something you must apologize for. Here is a simple test. When they say they are worried, do they become more respectful, more patient, more curious? Or do they become more demanding, more urgent, more punishing? Real concern gives you space to be human. Control disguised as concern demands you perform closeness on schedule. Sometimes they do not even want the talk. They want to win the moment. They want to pull you out of your center so they can feel powerful again. Because when you are calm, you are harder to manipulate. You cannot be rushed into agreeing. You cannot be guilted into abandoning your boundaries. Calm is not passive. Calm is self-possession. So when someone uses care as a crowbar, you stop explaining the calm. You stop debating the boundary. You become steady, respectful, and clear. You remember, you are not responsible for regulating a grown adult who refuses to regulate themselves. That leads to the next shock. When you stop being emotionally available on command, the role you played begins to collapse. When you become calm, you stop performing the role they assigned you. And most relationships, without anyone admitting it, run on roles more than they run on truth. In some families, one person is the stabilizer, the one who smooths tension, translates feelings, takes blame to keep peace. In some friend groups, one person is the entertainer, keeping energy high so no one has to face silence. In some relationships, one person is the fixer, apologizing first, explaining forever. And in many dynamics, there is a scapegoat, the person whose emotions become the official problem so everybody else can avoid their own. Your calm dissolves that contract. In a healthy relationship, roles are flexible. People take turns holding space. In an unhealthy system, roles become cages. You are the reasonable one, which secretly means you are required to swallow anger. You are the strong one, which secretly means you are not allowed to need anything. You are the one who understands, which secretly means you are responsible for translating everyone else's emotional mess into something polite. When you become calm in a new way, calm that includes boundaries, you are no longer available for those cages. You are still loving, but you are no longer willing to abandon yourself to keep the system stable. And systems that rely on one person's self-abandonment do not call that growth. They call it rebellion, because if you stop reacting, the fixer cannot fix. If you stop defending, the scapegoat cannot carry the guilt. If you stop soothing, the room has to sit with what it was dumping into you. And for people who have been quietly feeding on your emotional labor, your calm feels like betrayal. This is why the backlash can be so confusing. You are not fighting. You are not insulting. You are not escalating. You are simply not volunteering to absorb the storm. Yet someone acts like you did something wrong. They call you distant. They call you selfish. They say you changed. The truth is sharper. You stopped being convenient. Some people do not miss you. They miss the version of you that was useful to their chaos. The one who answered fast, apologized fast, explained fast, carried weight they did not want to carry. When you stop picking up that weight, they feel it on their own shoulders for the first time. That is when they get angry at your calm, because your calm forces them to experience reality without your cushioning. Notice how it plays out. You choose not to argue. You choose not to chase clarity from someone committed to misunderstanding you. You stay respectful and simple, and suddenly they list everything you have ever done wrong. Not because this moment requires history, but because they are trying to rebuild the old role, pulling you back into defending, over-talking, bleeding energy. Many people respond by proving they are still loving. They re-enter the role. They become the peacemaker again even when peace requires self-erasure. They become the fixer again even when fixing means swallowing truth. But your calm is not coldness. Your calm is maturity. It is the moment you stop confusing love with labor. If your presence only feels welcomed when you are anxious, you are not being loved. You are being used as a stabilizer for someone else's instability. And once you see that, you can choose a different kindness. Not the kindness that abandons you, but the kindness that refuses to participate in harm, including the harm of being emotionally exploited. Now, there is a balance. You do not want to become stone. You do not want to punish people with silence or superiority. The goal is not to be untouchable. The goal is to be unmovable in your center while staying human in your heart. And to do that, you have to understand the deeper layer behind these reactions. What looks like attitude is often physiology. What you are witnessing is not just personality, it is biology wearing a costume. When someone cannot tolerate your calm, it is often because calm is not neutral to their body. Calm is safety, and safety is not automatically pleasant if a nervous system was trained in intensity. If their normal was raised voices, sudden mood shifts, walking on eggshells, or love that always came with a test, then quiet does not feel like peace. Quiet feels like the moment before something bad happens. So when you become steady, their body does not read it as maturity. It reads it as uncertainty. And uncertainty, to a stressed nervous system, can feel identical to danger. That is why your calm can trigger reactions that make no logical sense. You are speaking gently, choosing your words, not attacking. And they respond as if you abandoned them, as if you disrespected them, as if you became someone else. Your calm is not cruel. Their system is searching for the old signal that told them where they stand. If the old signal was drama, Drama becomes proof of connection. If the old signal was urgency, your slowness feels like rejection. Here is the simplest truth. The nervous system wants what it recognizes, not what is good for it. Think of it like this. If someone lived for years in a house with alarms going off, their body learned to stay alert. If you suddenly turn the alarms off, their mind may celebrate, but their body may feel exposed. Stillness can feel like standing on a cliff. That is why they may create noise, arguments, accusations, urgency, just to recreate the sensation of normal. This is also why you might feel tempted to match them. Your own body may have been trained to mistake intensity for closeness. Part of your growth is learning that peace can be intimate and quiet can be love. It is learning that the absence of chaos is not the absence of connection. That is why peace can feel boring. That is why healthy love can feel suspicious. That is why calm can feel threatening to someone whose identity was built around emotional storms. When you stay calm, you remove the friction that used to create certainty. No fight means no makeup high. No crisis means no rescue role. No dramatic apology means no emotional spike. So the system panics because it does not know how to locate closeness without intensity. Then the mind builds a story to justify the panic. You don't care, you're cold, you're punishing me, you think you're better. Those are not careful conclusions. They are explanations built after the body already felt unsafe. This is why trying to win the argument rarely works. You are debating a story while their body is chasing a sensation. Logic does not regulate an activated nervous system. Presence does. Steadiness does. Boundaries do. But hear this clearly. Understanding the nervous system layer does not mean excusing harm. Dysregulation can explain behavior, but it does not justify cruelty. Compassion does not require you to offer your nervous system as a sacrifice, so you stop personalizing their chaos. You stop treating their discomfort as proof you should shrink. You hold the temperature steady. You speak slower. You choose fewer words. You refuse urgency. You become the kind of person whose nervous system is not available for rent. And once you do that, you will notice the next phase. They will test you. Once you stop reacting on command, some people do not accept the new reality right away. They test it, not always because they are evil, but because they want proof that the old buttons still work, that you are still steerable, that the familiar emotional weather can be restored. These tests are patterned. The logic is simple. If I can make you move fast, I can make you move without thinking. If I can make you emotional, I can make you negotiable. The first test is urgency. Answer me now. Respond right now. We need to deal with this right now. Urgency is rarely about the topic. It is about authority. It tries to install a rule. Your calm is not allowed. Your pace is not allowed. Your nervous system must match mine, or you are wrong. If you refuse that rule, urgency escalates into blame. You're ignoring me. You're disrespectful. You think you're above this. The moment you choose your timing, they frame it as an offense, because in their mind, access to you should be automatic. Then comes guilt. After everything I've done for you, I would never do this to you. I guess I care more than you do. Guilt is an invoice for your boundary. It tries to turn self-respect into debt. If you were trained to believe love means sacrificing comfort to keep others happy, guilt will feel like gravity. That is why guilt works. It does not attack logic. It attacks identity. It whispers, a good person would comply. Another test is the character attack. You changed. You're cold. You're selfish. They may also rewrite history. Suddenly your boundary becomes evidence that you were always the problem. Suddenly your growth becomes attitude. Suddenly your calm becomes manipulation. This is not because the facts changed. It is because the power dynamic changed. When someone loses access, they often reach for a story that makes them feel entitled to get it back. This is designed to make you defend your goodness. And defending your character drags you right back into emotional labor, listing intentions, history, effort, trying to prove your heart. Meanwhile, the real issue stays hidden. They are uncomfortable because they cannot steer you like they used to. Then there is crisis manufacturing, the sudden emergency, the emotional fire alarm. Sometimes it is a real problem exaggerated. Sometimes it appears the moment you find peace. Sometimes the conversation is framed as life or death. If you don't answer now, we're done. If you don't react, it means you never loved me. The crisis test tries to make your calm feel dangerous. It tries to make steadiness look like abandonment. And then comes triangulation. Pulling in a third party, performing the story for an audience, recruiting pressure through shame. Friends, family, co-workers are told you have changed. You're distant. You're not who you used to be. The goal is not truth. The goal is leverage. Sometimes the third party is not malicious. They just know the old you, the you who over-explained, who kept the peace, who folded to stop tension. So when they hear you have boundaries now, they interpret it as harshness. They encourage you to return to the role because it was comfortable for everyone else. This is where you need spiritual clarity, not emotional speed. Growth can look like betrayal to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries, and your calm becomes the moment you choose your soul over approval. So what do you do when these tests appear? You do not panic. You do not rage. You do not perform. You recognize the pattern and treat it as information, not command. Information about what the relationship has been built on, what they expect from you, and whether this bond is rooted in love or rooted in access. And if you respond with the right kind of calm, something powerful happens. The games lose oxygen. The manipulation loses traction. You stay warm without getting pulled into the storm. So let's talk about what to say and how to say it. Here is the shift. Stop trying to win their nervous system with words. Start protecting your nervous system with posture. Many calm people make the same mistake. They look calm on the outside, but inside they are bargaining, searching for the perfect sentence that will make the other person reasonable. And that hope is exactly what chaos feeds on. So these are not clever comebacks. These are responses that are calm because they are final. Not final like punishment, final like gravity. Delivery matters as much as the sentence. Speak slower than you feel. Keep your message short enough that it cannot be argued with line by line. Do not stack 5 boundaries in one text. Do not try to educate a person who is actively trying to destabilize you. And if you need to exit, exit cleanly. One clear line, then silence. Not silent as revenge, silent as completion. First, a calm delay. I hear you. I'm going to respond when we can talk respectfully. Then stop. Do not add a paragraph. Do not justify the boundary. Hold the line. This breaks urgency. It announces, you do not get access to my mind by raising the temperature. Second, clarity over speed. I'm not ignoring you. I'm choosing clarity over speed. This removes the false accusation while keeping the boundary intact. It teaches a new rhythm. We do not have to move fast to be real. Third, no arguing while activated. I won't argue while we're activated. If you want to talk, we can do it when we're both calm. This changes the rules. It turns a fight into a choice. And that choice includes your dignity. They may twist this into abandonment, so you say, I'm not leaving you, I'm leaving the fight. If you want connection, I'm here. If you want conflict, I'm not participating. That is love with limits. When guilt appears, refuse the invoice. I appreciate what you've done. And I still need this boundary. Gratitude does not cancel self-respect. When the character attack arrives, cold, selfish, changed, do not audition. Say, I have changed. I'm choosing what's healthier for me. If you can respect that, we can keep talking. If you can't, we'll pause. And when tone turns disrespectful, this line ends many spirals. I'm not available for this tone. If you want to restart with respect, we can. If not, we'll talk later. You are not controlling them. You are controlling your participation. Here is the deeper rule. Don't defend your calm. Confirm it. People who rely on chaos want you to justify your stability so they can argue with it. They want to turn your boundary into a debate. But calm is not a thesis. It is a practice. You do not convince someone you deserve peace. You demonstrate the environment you live in now. If you want to stay warm, add one sentence of humanity before the boundary. I care about this. I'm not doing it like this. Gentle and unmovable. And remember what you are protecting. Attention. Where your attention goes, your life goes. If someone can hijack your attention with urgency, they can hijack your day. Calm is spiritual because it refuses to live in reaction. Now, once you respond this way, relationships reveal their foundations. Some people adjust, some people intensify, some people leave. And that leads to the most honest chapter. When your calm becomes real, it stops being an attitude. It becomes a filter, and filters reveal. At first, it can feel unfair. You are not attacking. You are not disappearing. You are simply refusing to live inside emotional turbulence as a daily climate. And yet some people react as if you betrayed them. That reaction is information. They were not attached to your peace. They were attached to your availability. Your calm exposes two kinds of relationships. The first is rooted in essence. These are people who may not understand your shift immediately, but they can feel its integrity. They might be uncomfortable at first because the rhythm has changed, but they adjust. They become more curious, more respectful, more honest. They learn that closeness does not require intensity. With them, your calm upgrades the bond. You stop bonding through adrenaline and start bonding through truth. The second is rooted in access. These are people who built comfort on your lack of limits. They interpret boundaries as betrayal because the old contract benefited them. When you refuse, they call it coldness, ego, disrespect. But look closely. Your calm is not hurting them. It is removing their ability to manage their inner chaos through your reactions, and they feel that as loss. Here is the hard truth. Some people only feel safe with you when you are slightly anxious, quick to fix, quick to reassure, flexible enough to bend. Your calm threatens them because it makes you less bendable. So yes, some relationships will change. And if you are honest, that is what you have been asking for. A life where your nervous system is not on call. A love that does not require you to shrink. Peace that does not cost self-erasure. But many people sabotage themselves here. Someone pulls away, and they assume it means they did something wrong. So they return to the old pattern to keep the person. Speeding up, explaining, apologizing, reopening the door they worked so hard to close. Because loneliness can feel like punishment when you learn to measure worth by how needed you are. This is where self-knowledge matters. Separate pain from danger. The discomfort of losing a chaotic bond is not the same as being unsafe. Sometimes it is your body detoxing from a familiar addiction, the addiction to being emotionally chosen through urgency. Peace will cost you the company of people who only know how to connect through storms. There is grief here, even when leaving is right. You may miss the intensity the way someone misses a toxic habit. You may miss the feeling of being needed. You may even miss the makeup moments because they felt like proof you mattered. But ask yourself what the proof cost you. If the price was your nervous system, your sleep, your self-respect, that was not proof. That was payment. And as you release chaotic bonds, build new ones on purpose. Choose people who can handle a calm conversation without turning it into a courtroom. Choose people who can hear a boundary without calling it rejection. Choose people who can sit in silence without needing to fill it with threat. This is not about perfection. It is about safety. That is not tragedy. That is evolution. The old you could live in chaos because it felt like home. The newer you cannot, because you have tasted what it feels like to live inside yourself without flinching. So if someone leaves when you become calm, let it be data. Do not chase them to prove you are still lovable. Love that requires abandoning your center is not love, it is a bargain. At the same time, do not turn calm into a weapon. There is a peace that is actually avoidance, a silent superiority that punishes others with distance. That is not what we are building. The calm we are building is warm, present, respectful, and firm. Now we anchor this into identity, because the next time someone tests you, you will need a line to return to. Here is the anchor. My calm is not weakness. It is leadership over my inner world. It is the moment I stopped confusing urgency with love and noise with truth. Staying calm is not being chill. It is refusing to hand your steering wheel to someone else's emotions. It is refusing to let another person's dysregulation decide your tone, your timing, your self-respect, your day. Hold this image. Imagine your calm as a clear lake. People who live in chaos are used to murky water. Murkiness is comforting because it hides reflection. But when the water becomes still and clear, they can see themselves, impatience, control, fear, avoidance, and they blame the lake for being honest. Your calm does not create their chaos. Your calm reveals what was already there. It reveals who can be with you when there is no drama to hide behind. It reveals who can love without managing. It reveals who can handle intimacy without intensity. So when the text comes in and the bait appears, do this. Pause. Feel your body. Name the pattern, urgency, guilt, character attack, manufactured crisis, triangulation. Then choose again. Clarity over speed. Say it quietly to yourself, like a vow. I do not need to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding me. I do not need to over-explain what is healthy. I do not need to trade peace for permission to belong. If someone requires my anxiety to feel close to me, that is not closeness. That is dependency, disguised as intimacy. And here is the quiet confidence you grow into. I can be kind without being controllable. I can be open without being easy to hijack. I can listen without being recruited. If you want a simple practice, do this for a week. Every time you feel pressure to respond immediately, take one full breath before you touch the keyboard. One breath. That breath is you choosing yourself. Then respond from clarity, or don't respond at all until you have it. You are training your body to trust your center. And if you want to stay warm while holding the line, adopt this posture. Stand in the doorway. Do not slam it. Do not hold it open while someone storms through your home. Stand there, calm, present, self-respecting. Let love enter. Do not let disrespect enter. Let truth enter. Do not let manipulation enter. That is spirituality in real life. Not a quote, not a mood, an action under pressure. So let's close the loop. The moment you stop reacting, some people panic. That panic is not proof you harmed them. It is proof your calm removed the lever that used to move you. It is proof your peace is no longer negotiable. Here is the vow. I will not abandon myself to keep the room comfortable. I will not perform urgency as proof of love. I will not argue with someone who is activated and calling it truth. I will not pay guilt as the price of my boundary. I will not chase clarity from someone who benefits from confusion. I will be respectful. I will be honest. And I will stay grounded. My calm is the home I live in now. Finally, if this message described your life, write this somewhere you can see it. I choose clarity over chaos. And if you want the next script, how to stay calm when they push harder, stay with me, because the test gets sharper, but so does your strength.